So this coloring page is to help you differentiate between monochromatic, analogous, and complementary color schemes. I've already colored in a lot of the monochromatic, but remember, mono means one, chroma means color. You're just using the tints and shades for the one color. I chose orange. And you will always color with the darker color first, lighter color on top. So my dark values I shaded with black very, very lightly first, and then I went over top with orange. For my tints, I shaded with orange first, and then went over top with white. And anywhere that was pure orange, I only used the orange. So remember, this should look like a finished coloring sheet. It should be very vibrant, deep color. I shouldn't see any scribble scrabble, the white of the paper underneath. I should just see solid color. So going in with the black for any dark values very lightly, and if you want it to get darker, you can go in a little bit darker, but you shouldn't be pressing the black so hard that when you color over top with orange, you can't tell. We still want to know that it is a shade of orange. And as for tints, you're adding white on top, so same thing. You could get very, very light with your orange, and then heavy white on top. So this is about as far as I got for this picture. And next, I'm going to just move on to complementary. Now with the complementary color scheme, you can also use tints and shades. So that's why I started with the monochromatic and then I worked my way up to the complementary color scheme. Now fill in the colors that you're going to use first. I chose blue and orange for this one. You could choose violet and yellow, red and green, or you could even do tertiary colors that are complementary, like yellow green and red violet, or red orange and blue green. Now anytime you have two or more colors, you want to choose a color that's going to dominate the image, and a second one or a third one that are going to support the image. So for this one, I chose blue as my dominant color. I'm going to be putting blue in a lot of the big spaces and orange in a lot of the smaller spaces. So those are going to be kind of highlighted because of that. Now, anywhere I want dark blue, I can either shade in very, very heavy with the blue, or just like with the monochromatic color scheme, I can add in some black on top or on bottom and then blue on top of the black. So it's a shade of blue. Or if I add white, it is a tint of blue. So like I said, I'm adding orange in just some of the small areas so that they really pop out against the blue. So I'm going to add in a little bit of shading there. Okay, I'll come back to this one later, but I want to get started on analogous. So same as before, I want you to actually fill in the part of the color wheel that you think you might use. Now I did add some violet in there. I did not use any purple in my actual coloring page. But I did use blue, blue-green, green, and yellow-green. So I do have those filled in. Now remember, analogous could be 3 to 5 colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. And generally, when I think of 3 colors next to each other, I tend to think of the primary and secondary colors. And then the tertiary or intermediate colors, I kind of add in as some filler. So this could be purple, blue, and green, and I've also just added in the colors that are in between those. Again though, I didn't use any purple. So for this one, because I have so many colors to work with, I'm trying not to use tints or shades very much in this one. I am just mixing the colors. So you're going to see a lot of layering, a blue with green over top, or green with yellow-green over top. I also did grab this light blue. The only thing about the light blue, it already has some white added in, which is why it's a light blue. So it usually doesn't need anything else on top of it, and it's a great way to lighten without using white, especially on those blue-greens, so it looks a little bit more teal. Once again though, you want to pick colors that are going to dominate the image. So on this one, I used a lot of the greens as the dominant color, and my blue is my supporting color. So pure blue, whether it is a regular blue or light blue, those are my accents, and then the colors that dominate the image are going to be my green, blue-green, and yellow-green. As always, it is the darker color on the bottom and the lighter color on top. So you do have to compare and contrast your two colors, figure out which one has a darker appearance, and that's what you layer first. So there are some areas I did go back over top with white. I'm sure you noticed by now. So I'm not saying I didn't use it at all, but not as much. I also am using a little bit of black in one area so that I can get a darker blue-green. I didn't use very much though, I shaded it very, very lightly. And then just for fun, I wanted to go back in with my complementary color scheme and actually use some gradients. So I have some cool fades going on the side. It's always nice when you add in some values with your complementary or analogous color schemes. It just makes them more interesting. So here we go, all done.